no. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Ow, 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 ow. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym. Old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, fly fishing guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah, try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
It's time for the Lithia Ford of Boise Postgame Show from Bronco Nation News. We're breaking down the game with highlights, interviews, analysis, and most importantly, you. Give your thoughts on the game in the YouTube chat or Facebook comments, and we'll include the best ones on the show. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view their full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktails Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise Postgame Show from Bronco Nation News.
Well, the final seconds ticking off the clock. Standing ovation cheering for Utah State, and the Boise State men's basketball team heads to the handshake line with a second straight loss, falling 80-61 tonight here at the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum at Utah State. Sellout crowd. Stu Morrill night, and the Broncos just couldn't really get anything going offensively. The Broncos shoot well below their season average and just really struggled tonight. 21 of 59 from the field. They shoot just 35.6%. Utah State, meanwhile, shoots 51.8%. And, again, the Broncos just 7 of 29 from three-point range. Just couldn't make enough shots tonight. How you doing? My name is BJ Rains. This is the Lithia Ford of Boise postgame show. We are presented by Rowe Paint, our title sponsor. Check them out for all your painting needs, roepaint.com. We're going to have Leon Rice join us shortly. We're going to have a to-be-determined player join us shortly, and a lot to discuss here. I know you guys are frustrated. I know you're upset. I know some of you feel the wheels are falling off, and this is going to be the February slide again. So we'll take all your comments, good or bad, and I'll just get this out of the way first. We saw this coming. Boise State was underdogs in both these games, and yes, did they look good in either of these games? No. But I think earlier in the week, a lot of us thought 2 losses was very possible, and I think that if you'd have said that the 4-game stretch you had, that you'd go 2-2 and you had to go to New Mexico and you had Air Force and you had these road venues this week, if you'd said ahead of time that you'd go 2-2 in that stretch, I think Boise State may have taken that, to be honest with you, with some of the road venues that they just went through. But you know what? They got those 3 out of the way, and it gets a little bit easier here for Boise State. They finally get a rest. They got 4 winnable games against the bottom teams in the league, and then you get both Nevada and New Mexico at home. So you have 4 conference losses right now, and I know it doesn't seem likely, but we said all along the schedule gets a lot easier down the stretch here, and I think Boise State could very easily rip off a 6-game winning streak and be 13-4 going to San Diego State to end the rest of the season, and everything will be fine. So I get it right now. That's not the feeling. You don't feel fine. You don't like the way they're playing. I totally get that. I'm going to take the glass half positive, I guess, approach on this one, that they kind of, finished like a lot of people thought they would. They were going to lose both these games. So maybe the way it happened, you feel a little worse about it, but I'm just going to be honest. Not many teams in America were going to win tonight in this atmosphere. Sellout crowd. The student section was the craziest student section I've seen all year. They had chants. They had signs. They were standing the whole game. Kudos to the Utah State student sections. I could have done without some of the profane language and things they said, but from an energy standpoint, they were as good as any that I can remember in a long time. So kudos to the Utah State students and their crowd. And it was just Boise State kind of ran into a buzzsaw tonight. Stu Morrill Court. The place was electric all night. I'm going to have to say I think this was louder than the pit, to be honest with you. The pit wasn't even full. This place was full and rocking from start to finish, and I gotta say this was the toughest road environment that Boise State has played in all season long. So we're going to have Leon Rice join us, as I said. We're going to have a player join us as well. But Boise State, again, falls. It wasn't pretty. I get it. There's certainly some issues with the shooting the last couple of games that concern you a little bit. I don't know what's up with Chibuzo Abo. He was hesitant to shoot. He kept pump faking at times and didn't really want to shoot. So I don't understand. I thought he had a lot of shots that he could have taken today that he passed up, and that's 2 games in a row where Chibuzo Abo hasn't finished great from a scoring standpoint. But Tyson Degenhardt had 17. Max Rice had 12. He hit his first 3, quieted the crowd, and they were all over him tonight. There were signs, banners, there were chants, and Max Rice finishes with 12 points. He was 4 of 8 from three-point range tonight. Omar Stanley had 11 points, but he was in foul trouble tonight. There was just a lot of things going against Boise State tonight in terms of some foul trouble, in terms of just not making any shots, and it was just a super tough atmosphere and environment. So, no, I'm not going to sugarcoat this all the way and say it's an acceptable or excusable loss, but again, let's put a little perspective on this. It is a quad 1 loss on the road against the team that is now in first place in the league. Would you like to lose by 19? No. Is it going to maybe hurt your computer numbers a little bit? Sure. But overall, in the large scheme of winning this conference, in the large scheme of making the NCAA tournament, this was not some devastating loss that is going to keep them out of the NCAA tournament. Now, it will hurt them in terms of a tiebreaker. They're now essentially 2 games behind Utah State, even though it's 1 in the standings. It's 2 because you lost the tiebreaker, and that goes head to head as well now that they won both those games. So you're essentially 2 games back of Utah State for first place in the conference here. With 7 games to go. Now, again, Boise State, 11 straight games they had played with 3 days or less of rest. They've been going at it for a long time. They had the very first bye to start conference play, and they've had 2 games every week all the way straight through here. I think the longest stretch of any team in the conference to have to go without a bye. So Boise State badly needs a break. They're going to get the break here this week. They don't play until Saturday at home. And again, the next 4 games are Saturday at home, and then you have Fresno against Fresno State, and then you have San Jose State at home. Those are 2 games that they're going to win. And then you're at Wyoming, which could be a little tough, but then you're at Air Force as well. So that's 4 games against teams all ranked outside the top 170 at KenPom. That's got to be 4 wins. And then you feel a little better, that you're at home against New Mexico and Nevada, 2 teams you already beat on the road. So I think that, yes, is it a rough feeling? Does it feel rough? Do you want to give up on the season like some people are? I guess, and I can see why people might say that. But I think that there's still a lot of winnable games left on Boise State's schedule. They have one of the easiest schedules in the Mountain West left. If you go look at the schedules, I mean, New Mexico still has to play at all the big boys, San Diego, Reno, Boise State. I think they still go to Colorado State as well. So a lot of tough games coming up for them on the road. San Diego State still has to go to Utah State. I think Utah State's got a couple tough games left. So I think that as bad as it feels right now, Boise State's going to start racking up wins, and these other teams are all going to beat up on each other over the next couple of weeks. And I think when it's all said and done, my personal opinion, call me a homer, say whatever, I'm going to look at this as a big picture for the rest of the season, which I was doing even before this week. And I'm looking that they still have a lot of wins left on the schedule, and certainly a lot of games that Boise State has a chance to win here. Okay, folks, can you guys not move the chair? Okay, that's all right. The fans are moving the chair here, and we're trying to get ready to have a live guest, but that's okay. They're getting pictures on Stu Morrill Court here. Okay, all right, fine. If that's what they Utah State students, I just said so many nice things about you guys too, and they're just moving our chair here. But the final stats, again, I got interrupted doing that, but you got 17 points for Tyson. And we are going to get to your comments. There's over 100 of them already waiting. We will get to the comments, but we're going to have our interviews at any moment here, so I just want to be ready for that. But 17 points for Tyson Degenhart on 5 of 13 shooting. I mentioned Max Rice had 12 points on 4 of 8 shooting. Omar Stanley had 11, but that was it for Boise State. Roddy Anderson only had 6 points. Chibuzo Abo only had 5 points, and I think that's like 12 points for him in the last 2 games. Cam Martin did have 6 points off the bench. I thought he actually did some nice things for Boise State. The Broncos actually won the rebounding battle 36-35, but they just couldn't make enough shots, and they couldn't stop Utah State enough. 51.8%. I think that's 2 straight games now. The opponents have shot over 50%. Against Boise State. So the Broncos down by 11 at the half and just really, really couldn't get it going. And they fall in disappointing fashion tonight. Again, the final score 80-61. Let's go ahead and take a quick 90-second commercial break. Then we'll get to your comments and our interviews. Keep it going there in the ICCU YouTube chat. We'll be back in 90 seconds with Leon Rice, a player, and your comments live from the Spectrum here. Exclusive coverage. Boise State loses. They fall, and on the road, 80-61, and we'll be right back in 90 seconds here on Bronco Nation News.
All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of premix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com.
How about a career-high 25 points tonight for Mason Falslev? Great game for him in 35 minutes. His previous career high was 19. He goes for 25. He was number 12. He had a huge game out there. Darius Brown, after really hurting Boise State there in Boise, hurts them in Logan as well tonight. He had 18 points, 14 for Martinez, 10 for Grant Osibor. And, Utah State, again, just made a lot of shots and was able to do some things that Boise State couldn't in terms of scoring. We're going to have Leon Rice here shortly. He's going to come over and join us. He's just finishing up with Bob and Abe, and then we'll get to your comments. Tyson Degenhart also going to join us shortly, but he is heading in the shower right now. They've got a team plane to hit to come back, so we'll get Tyson Degenhart eventually here. Leon Rice going to join us in the postgame as well. But, again, Boise State now 7-4 in conference play. They're 16-8 overall, and certainly one that Boise State would have liked to have that one back in Boise. This one they weren't super competitive, and the one in Boise is the one that really hurts. It was 90-84, and certainly that's one that Boise State would. But again, 80-61, and appreciate after the game. Coach Leon Rice, nice enough to sit down and join us here on the show. Coach Rice, appreciate your time. I mean, not many teams in America would have won in this building tonight.
Yeah, we've seen this before in this building. They can get it rolling, and they're coming off 2 losses. We knew we were going to face a wounded animal, and they played terrific and made a bunch of threes, and they're a team that scored a lot of points, but usually not a lot from 3. And when they get it going from 3, it's tough to defend because they got the inside threat and the outside threat.
Yeah, and just the crowd tonight just was, I think this was louder than the pit, in my opinion. I thought it was super loud, the student section from start to finish. And you guys only had 10 turnovers, though. I mean, I don't think you guys didn't seem overly fazed by the crowd, in my opinion. You just couldn't make enough shots.
Yeah, I think we're a little worn out.
Okay,
and it's been a long month and a month and a half, and starting with the bye, you got game after game after game. This bye's coming at a great time for us because we need to be able to regroup and get our minds right, bodies right. You just don't have much time to get a lot done when it's game after game after game, and you're trying to keep your guys fresh, but there's so much to cover and do, and so it hurts you in the fact that you don't get a lot of time to work on the things that you need to work on. And we got some stuff. First of all, we get our bodies right, get our minds right. We're a little banged up still, and I think we'll come out of these couple days of being able to feel a little bit better. And this team always responds, and we'll be back. It's just this bye is coming at a great time.
Yeah, you guys, I think 11 games in a row with 3 days of rest or less, and I think that's the longest streak in the conference here. I mean, I know you guys battled and did all they could, but I know you said that you knew this break was coming for a long time. And then with that said, I know every game's hard in this league, but you've already now gone to 4 of the 5 hardest venues, and I'll say it looks like the schedule at least gets a little bit more manageable down the stretch. I know every game as a coach you're going to say is the hardest game that night, but just where you've already had to play. Maybe you get a chance with the bye here. These other teams all beat up on each other, and you guys can try to go on a roll here to end the season.
It's true. You can't overreact because of how many losses everybody's going to get, and this is a top 20 team right now, and they played like it tonight. I know that, and it's just a matter of regrouping, and you've seen it all over the league where team will lose a couple and then they bounce back. Team will lose a couple, they bounce back, and you just got to get back to, you got a month left after this bye to playing your best basketball. And if you do that, let the fur fly, and we're a good enough team to be right there in the hunt.
As I mentioned, you only had 10 turnovers. You won the rebounding battle 36-35. What was, I guess, the bigger issue for you? Them shooting 52% or you guys only shooting 36?
Both. It was both, because we got to get our offense clicking. We had it clicking last, a week ago, and it can change quick. But you also played 2 really good teams on their court, and they were really physical games, both games. And like I said, to be fair to our guys, they looked a little worn out, but they battle, but like I said, the best thing that we have in that locker room, so many good guys that have such high character, that they'll be ready. This break will help us. Like I said, we'll be able to reset. We'll be back to playing great basketball.
And I guess final thing, Coach, we saw, UNLV go into the pit and win tonight. I think that's 7 teams within 1 game of first place now. Again, I mean, Utah State's there at 1. I think there's 6 of you now with 4 losses in conference. I mean, there's going to be some crazy teams good teams having to play on Wednesday in this conference tournament.
No doubt.
But I guess, as I kind of said, you guys have already gone mostly through that gauntlet, and hopefully you can take advantage of this down the stretch here.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's just for coaches and for a team, because you've seen all these teams now, and if they all play good and you don't, they all beat you. And so we'll get back to our focus now. We'll be able to be on us for a little bit, and we'll get back to playing really good. And when we play really good, we can play with anyone.
No doubt. Appreciate it, Coach. Safe travels back. Thank you very much. There he is, Leon Rice. Appreciate him for the time after Boise State falls 80-61 tonight at Utah State. And again, thank you to Coach Rice for joining us. Taking the positive stretch there for the most part. Admitted that this team was really, just needing the break, and was certainly a little worn out at this point. So Boise State just could use a break, as you heard Coach Rice say. And again, not an excuse, but they've played 11 straight games with 3 days or less, which is for Boise State one of the longest stretches. I think the longest stretch in the Mountain West this season without having that bye week. Remember, they had the very first bye before the very first conference game. Boise State had the raw deal of having the bye, so they've had to play 11 straight, 2 games a week. And so now they get that break. They get a couple of days off. I would imagine they'll take Sunday, Monday off, practice for a couple of days, probably take 3 of these next 6 or 7 days off to kind of regroup here. And they'll get home tonight, probably before midnight, a quick flight back, and then they'll try to regroup. Terrible week of performance. If you want to look at it overall, the 2 games, yes, they were not great games for Boise State. But again, you heard Coach Rice, and I'm telling you guys, these other teams are going to beat up on each other. They've all got really tough games. And just look at the losses. Boise State has 4 conference losses. Every other team has 4 except Utah State now with 3. And again, Utah State, you look at their schedule here coming up. They've got to go to Wyoming on Wednesday, then to Colorado State on Saturday. All of a sudden, you could look up in 7 days, and Boise State could be a game up on Utah State in the standings. So just put some perspective on this. These teams have a lot of tough games left, okay? I mentioned Utah State. They're 1 game up in first place, but they still play at Wyoming, at Colorado State, San Diego State at home, and then they still play New Mexico at home as well. So that's 4 games that they could lose still left. You look at just say Colorado State. They got to go to San Diego State on Tuesday, and then they host Utah State. Then they still have to go to New Mexico, to UNLV, that's three games that San Diego or that Colorado State could still lose. San Diego State, let's take a look at them. They are home to Colorado State and home to New Mexico, but they still have to play at Utah State, at UNLV, and they get Boise at home. So that's 3 losable games for San Diego State left as well. I mean, let's look at Nevada. Nevada's got New Mexico at home, and then they go to UNLV. They still have Wyoming. They still have Colorado State on the road and Boise State on the road and UNLV at home. So 2 games against UNLV. New Mexico, Colorado State, and Boise still on the schedule. So if you just take a deeper dive into the schedules here, I know Leon Rice wouldn't fully come out and admit it, but he kind of did. He kind of did say, like, yeah, it's a time for them to focus on them and potentially do some things. And so you look at these schedules and these teams that are all in the mix there, and I didn't even go through all of them. Boise State is gonna sit there and Boise State is going to sit there and continue to win games, and these other teams are going to keep knocking each other off because, as I mentioned, for the next 2 weeks, Boise State plays Fresno, San Jose, Air Force, and Wyoming. So I get it. You're frustrated. It's certainly not ideal where Boise State is at right now, but they just finished 7 quad 1 opportunities in 10 games, and I think they went 4-3. I think they went 4-3 out of 7 quad 1 games in the last 10. So they went through a gauntlet of a schedule, and they came out with a winning record. And I understand that I'm sugarcoating it. I'm taking the positive angle, whatever. I totally get that, but I'm just telling you, not many teams are going to come into this atmosphere and win. And on this night with this crowd tonight, it was just electric. Nobody would have won this game in here tonight. So when we get Tyson, ma'am, we need the chair. I'm sorry. We're doing a live show here. Thank you. Tyson right here. Sorry about that. We had someone sitting in Tyson's chair. We will give him that, and we'll raise this up here. Tyson Degenhart joining us on the Lithia Florida Boise postgame show. Tyson finishing with 17 points, but Boise State falling on the road 80-61. Tyson, appreciate you for the second straight game joining us here on the postgame show. I started this out with Leon too, but it just seemed like tonight not many teams with this atmosphere, and it just seemed like not many teams would have come in here and won tonight.
Yeah, I mean, even though there was a lot against us, we came in confident. We think we had a good game plan, and ultimately we just didn't execute it.
What was more concerning, I guess, the lack of shooting? You guys shot 35%, or them shooting 52%?
I think them shooting 52%. Obviously, you look at the stats, and they're not they don't shoot a ton of threes. They really kill you from 2. And when they make 9 for 21, I mean, it's going to be a tough night to beat them. And
just in this building, I mean, were they just kind of feeling it tonight, you think, on some of those threes and stuff?
I mean, Brown was 3 for 4, Falslev 3 for 5. I mean, that's pretty good between those two starting guards, and they combined for 43 points. That's pretty tough to go against.
Max tonight hit 4 threes. The crowd was all over him with the signs and stuff. I thought he played pretty well tonight in his last game in the Spectrum. That was at least good to see.
Yeah, it was good to see him hit some shots. We just need to keep finding them more. I mean, 50% from 3 is always really good, and we just got to keep finding them.
What second straight game where it's a tough road loss, tough environment. I guess just I know each game's individual, but how do you feel overall with this week? Obviously, it was a tough one.
Definitely a tough week. Never want to go 0-2 in a week, no matter who you're playing. But definitely the bye comes at the right time. Give us a little reset and come back ready fresh.
Yeah, you guys, the last team in the league, you played 11 straight, games with 3 days or less of rest. I mean, this has been a really tough gauntlet. You just finished 7 quad 1 games out of 10. I mean, how badly did you guys need this break here?
It came at the perfect time. We're still in a great spot in the conference, tied for second. We got a great schedule ahead of us, and we're going to come back ready to go.
I know you're not going to see any games easy in this league, but you guys have already played it, 4 of the 5 tougher venues in the league. You have some winnable games, in my opinion, coming up on the schedule here. I mean, I know the 4 losses in conference, 8 overall isn't where you want to be, but you kind of look at, hey, let's let all these other teams beat up on each other still that have, and you guys hopefully can kind of get on a roll here.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, we can only control what we can control. We can control the outcomes of our games, and you kind of just have to let the league kind of figure itself out.
Aside from rest, what else do you think during this bye week you guys need to work on?
We just got to find that defensive presence that we had at some stretches earlier in the year. I mean, we just haven't had it the last 2 nights, and on the offensive end, we got to find ways when they're pressuring us like that to get some easy buckets.
And I asked you this the other night, but how badly do you guys need some of the other guys? You're doing your thing, obviously, but how much could some other guys be doing to help you, and how confident are that those guys are going to start to have some big games too?
We have a lot of confidence in our team, and we know that they're going to have a night where they're going to step up, and it's going to be a great night, and we know that they're going to put in the work, and they'll be ready for it.
Putting you on the spot here, but are we going to try to do a show this week, or?
We can try.
See. We'll see. We got a lot going on. I know you got way more important things to worry about. Maybe we will. We'll see. Another big win for the softball team today over Arizona State, by the way.
That was a big win after getting shut out 9-0 in the first game today.
Northwestern already, and now they got this one. So that was good to see. At least
they're off to a good start.
Yeah,
I mean, 3-1 the first weekend, and they got one more tomorrow. So should be a good start for them.
Well, get some rest, man. Safe trip back, and we'll see you Saturday. And looking forward to that one, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. There he is. Tyson Degenhart, we appreciate him for jumping on the Lithia Florida Boise postgame show here. If folks aren't aware, he is dating one of the softball players. So happy for him, at least, that they got a win, Brooke Thompson. So I saw some comments here about Bush Hamden. I don't know if I haven't seen that. Did I miss that? That is now official, because everything that I've been told is that Boise State was still trying to keep him and no deal was done. Folks in the chat, not sure if they're spitting some fake news or what, but I have not seen anything change. Maybe it did. You guys can let me know. I have not checked Twitter in the last hour, but obviously here doing the post-game show and things like that, but I haven't seen anything. Okay, not official yet. Okay, so I guess we're looking at what we had earlier. So Degenhart a leader, Degenhart a stud. So yeah, I mean that's 2 games in a row after a tough loss. They've had Tyson Degenhart come out and have to talk to the media. So there goes Bob and Abe. Good safe travels, guys, to you guys. They're jumping on the bus to head back to Boise. I believe there's some folks heading back on a bus, some folks heading, some of the players and coaches heading back on a smaller plane or planes. So they're going to get back tonight and get some rest. Dan DeLuca, appreciate you for watching, man. Says, well, it happens. Bounce back, beat them in the tournament. Did find out a couple things, by the way. That's not mine, sir. I don't think that's mine. I'm sorry, what was that? Oh, it was the coach's cam. I'll give it to him. Okay, thanks. That is the 3rd straight game, by the way, that Leon Rice has gotten a technical against Utah State. He got one in the Mountain West tournament when they played them, and then got them in Boise, and then the one now. So, and I guess the broadcast, did you guys miss it? I guess the broadcast was showing the replay of Degenhart's technical foul. The crowd was going, or the Degenhart took the charge. I'm not sure if it was a charge or not. He started to go back, and there wasn't a ton of contact. They called the charge. The ref was under the basket and couldn't really see the lack of contact. The crowd's going crazy. Roddy Anderson tries to take advantage of that and just flies up the court, and Darius Brown goes flying, I believe, and they call it right away a makeup charge to go back the other way. So that was certainly And then Leon was right there, didn't like the call, and don't know what he said, but he was essentially, right there by the ref who made the call. A quick tee, and that was that. So that's a third straight game that Leon Rice gets a tee. Tony Padilla is a well-known ref and one of the better refs in the country, but the other two guys were both younger, inexperienced guys that just didn't had a little trouble on both sides with some of the calls tonight. So refereeing was not why Boise State lost this game. Let's make that very clear. They both sides, the refereeing was better, I thought, in the game in Boise when they played him. I'll say that. But you did have two younger, inexperienced refs tonight. I thought both ways had some difficulty, but the refereeing did not impact this game really at all. I mean, Boise State did get some in foul trouble, but if they foul, they foul. Broadcast was horrible. No coverage of the tee or the other charge. Can't believe the ref made a personal decision not to call the obvious backcourt foul directly following. And then did they, I believe they called him Stanley Omar or something instead of Omar Stanley. I thought I saw that on Twitter at some point. Trash game. When do NIT tickets go on sale? I don't know. You have to ask the teams that are in the NIT when that will be. Again, Boise State. Let me help this guy with this cord there. Boise State is this. By the way, they were in a really cramped spot here, but I may have had the best seat in the house. I'm literally at center court, but you couldn't leave. You had to crawl under people to get out of here. It was not the ideal thing. But again, folks, the last two games have not been good. They've now lost 3 out of 5. The 8 losses overall is what worries you. It should worry you a little more, and that's why the Washington State game would have been one you really would have liked to have had, because then you only had 7. If anybody I don't know if I'm even allowed to do this legally, but if anybody wants to throw down a wager with me, I still think Boise State makes the NCAA tournament. If Kurt, you really believe they're going to the NIT, back it up, man. Let's put something on it. You got to buy I think you're already a paid subscriber, but I'll bet somebody if they have to subscribe, if Boise State doesn't make it, and if they do, I'll give you a free subscription or something. Well, we can figure something out however you want to do it. I am still confident that Boise State, when it's all said and done, is going to be in the NCAA tournament and is going to be in an okay spot. Just look around the league, folks. These teams are all losing games. It's just I should have predicted this, but I just the way the games went, I guess, maybe is a reason for frustration, but they're about to roll off a lot of wins in a row here. So let's just keep a little perspective if you can. Again, I ask you to please go look at the other team schedules in the league. And when you got Fresno and San Jose for your next 2 games and a bye, literally, guys, 10 days from now, Boise State could be in first place again. So I still am bullish that this team's going to get back to the NCAA tournament and still be a decent seed in the Mountain West tournament. So the problem is you just have so many good teams that still have to play. I mean, 3 good teams are going to have to play. 2-3 good teams have to play on Wednesday in the playing round, and then have to go 4 in 4 days to win the conference tournament. So Boise State lost it when they didn't score for over 5-6 minutes in the half. I think it was. I got the stats here. Give me credit. I kept the play-by-play going all the way until it was 67-50, and then I said, "All right, this game's over." But Boise State was winning 13-10. Linda with the question there about the run or the comment. Boise State was up 13-10 after Cam Martin hit a pair of free throws with 14:11 to go in the first half. Boise State missed 12 shots in a row. They went 5 minutes and 24 seconds without scoring. Omar Stanley missed 2 free throws in that stretch. And Boise State falls behind 23-13 at that point. Max Rice finally hit a 3 to end the drought with 8:47 left in the first half to make it 23-16. Jace Whiting hit a 2 to make it 25-18. Boise State was trying to hang around, but just too much from Utah State. And I thought a big play was Boise State had it down to 9, and there was about 45 seconds left, and they couldn't get a stop. Utah State scored to put it up at 11, and then Boise State didn't score, and they were down 11 at the half. If they could have got a stop and score, they could have been down 6 or 7 at the half instead of 11, and maybe that would have been a little different outcome. But in the end, it just wasn't enough for Boise State tonight. And again, final score 80-61. We'll get to some more of your comments here shortly, but I do want to thank a couple of our sponsors. Lithia Ford of Boise, they have NIL deals with 5 student athletes at Boise State, including 3 from the football team. Make sure you check them out, LithiaFordBoise.com. View that full inventory of vehicles. Our van is going downhill quickly, and we may be going to purchase a second vehicle from Lithia Ford here shortly. And when we do, we'll go online, we'll check the inventory, pick out a couple we like, and then we'll go test drive them and make our decision. It's as easy as that. Check them out, LithiaFordBoise.com. Taco Bell, my kids sent me a picture from back in town today, and they went to Taco Bell for lunch and had a great time. And I recommend it highly. The new slushies they have there, the double berry freeze, all the new food items they have as well. And so the food's great, but they're also giving a lot of money to Boise State for student scholarships. So that's another reason to support them. And oh, by the way, they're hiring if you're looking for a job. TacoBellWorks.com, SON Management, the Nicolason family. We appreciate their support, and they'll give you half your wages the very next day after your shift if you need a job. So check them out at TacoBellWorks.com. The Blue and Orange Store, check them out as well. We appreciate Travis Hawks and company. Free shipping, any order over $40. And otherwise, you can go into the Boise Town Square Mall. They're on the second floor next to Pro Image. And again, the blueandorangestore.com. All your Boise State apparel, shirts, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, you name it. They've got it at the Blue and Orange Store, the blueandorangestore.com. And TCS, Transportation Compliance Service. If you're looking for a job, how about getting into the trucking industry? Check them out, transcomservice.com. They'll help you with all the permits, all the DOT overweight permits, things you need. Folks that try to get into the trucking business by themselves end up going out of business about 75% of the time. So let them do it for you, and you will not be disappointed, thanks to transcomservice.com. All right, back here at the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum, exclusive coverage, live interviews. You already heard from Leon Rice. You already heard from Tyson Degenhart. And let's see, Sky Ship talking about Meadow. Yeah, it's Meadow, not Meadow Sky. But yeah, he missed 4 free throws in a row at Colorado State. He comes back tonight and hits 2 big ones for Boise State. So Kay Foster is saying Boise State will win its first NCAA tournament game this year. I like your optimism there, Kurt. Let's see. Wheels are not falling off, according to Dan Hawk. Appreciate you, Dan, one of the legendary sportscasters in the Boise market that moved on. And I hope you guys remember Dan and the great job that he did. Wheels are not falling off. Plenty of time the rest of the way. First time Utah State swept Boise, and that is correct. I was actually going to get to that. Got it in my notes here. First time since 2010, 2011, guys, more than a decade. First time that Utah State has swept Boise State. And again, it's just part of it, home versus road. And I'll tell you what, Extra Mile Arena, you guys do a great job, but you come to some of these games and you just remember how crazy some of these road environments are in the Mountain West Conference. In the student section tonight, you heard Leon Rice agree that he thought this was louder than the pit. It was just super loud and super tough environment for Boise State. It's not an excuse, but Boise State is now done with 4 of their 5 tough venues in the league, and I believe everybody else has at least 2 left. Boise State obviously already has the game against San Diego State left, but otherwise doesn't have a ton of tough ones left on in terms of the road venues. So we got some post game notes here. Appreciate that. Utah State 20 wins for the 33rd time in school history, 19th time in the last 25 seasons. Utah State has won 20 games, and they're 20-4 now, 5th best start in school history for them. 11-1 at home, so not a lot of losses at home for Utah State. Again, 11-1 at home. Maybe it's the way Boise State lost. I get it, non-competitive for most of the second half, but they actually cut it to 10. And I'm thinking, okay, there's still 12 minutes left in this game. They're only down 10. They might actually have a chance to make this a game, but it felt like they were down 30. And you look up and it's 53-43, but just not enough to be able to get it going. Why wasn't Foslov doubled? Led them first half, never contained him. Also used the man on 4 Martinez. He was Brick City. I think because they were kind of daring him to shoot a little bit. He hadn't taken a lot of 3-pointers this season, and coming into the game, he was, let's see what his stats were from 3-point range, but he was averaging 11-4 for the season, but he wasn't a guy that was shooting a ton of threes this year. On the percent, he was only 33% from 3 at home this season. Overall, he's only a 30.8% 3-point shooter. So I think they were kind of saying, dare him to keep shooting and keep making them. And tonight he did. Career high, the game of his career, 10 for 13 from the field, 3 of 5 from downtown. Darius Brown, also not an elite 3-point shooter. He goes 3 of 4 from downtown. Even Isaac Johnson, the big 7-footer, number 20, made 2 3-pointers tonight. So 9 3-pointers, well above the season average. That's not something Utah State typically does. And, they just hit a lot of shots tonight. And so you got to give credit to Utah State. They did a lot to deserve the win tonight. Boise State certainly struggled. And again, I asked both those guys what was more concerning. For me, it's the defense. I think giving up 52%. That's not great. And so Let's see. What else we got here in the chat? Don't see as many Utah State fans as I was expecting to infiltrate the chat here. So let's see what we got here. Starts and ends with the defense. Didn't have any. I agree with that, Bob. Definitely. They said Roddy fouled out, not Omar, and then corrected it. Yeah, they didn't have a great broadcast from what I heard overall, but they didn't show the Roddy charge. Yeah, I didn't see that, or I didn't see the broadcast, but that's what I heard. They messed up, and when Roddy Anderson took the charge right after that, they missed that, or was called for the charge. They missed that, and then that's when Leon Rice got his technical, which we found out was the third straight game against Utah State that the Leon Rice has been teed up this season. So, ton of comments in the chat here. Appreciate all you guys. I'm trying to find some of them here. Need the blue and orange store to stock the shirt Coach Rice and the staff are wearing. I will ask Travis Hawks about that, why they don't have that one, and if they can get it in. Let's see. Best student section isn't great at all. Butts kicked twice this week. Yeah, not going to lie. That is true. 2 double-digit losses. Hadn't happened since late last season to lose 2 in a row by at least 10. But, again, I don't think that overall in the big picture, it's really that, it's not that surprising. They were underdogs in both games. They lost both games. So, overall, if you're talking about the standings, getting to the tournament, all that, there's still a path. You got to win. You got to go 5-2 at worst down the stretch, and I think 6-1 is probably what is going to get it done. And I think they can go. I think they can win the next 6. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys can come at me, but I think Boise State can win the next 6 games, and we're going to be having a much different conversation here after the senior night game against Nevada in a couple of weeks. So I think that there's going to be first place on the line for Boise State when they go to San Diego State in the final game of the regular season. Boise State will win its next 6 games, in my opinion. So I'm calling it right now. 6-game winning streak is coming, and you're all going to be I'm going to be telling you I told you so, and you're all going to be calming down a little bit later in the season. Let's see here. I think we can still show up for a game or 2 in the tourney. Still don't understand the offense. Are the Broncos still on top? Nope. I already said Utah State is. I talked to some Utah State fans sitting behind me. They were some good-natured heckling, asking about the power rankings and stuff. And I said that Utah State has to be number 1 in the power rankings. They're the only team in first place. And in terms of the venue rankings, based on where they in the night that I've been in the arenas. And again, I don't know if Utah State is this crazy every night. I'm sure the New Mexico has been a little crazier in some of their other games. This one was not sold out when they went a couple weeks ago. But in terms of the venues I've been to on the night I've been in them, I think Utah State's got to be at the top. It was electric crowd tonight. It was awesome atmosphere. And again, I could use without a little bit of the profanity and some of that stuff. But overall, I thought the students were into it and they were loud. And I give Utah State a lot of credit. And again, only dropped to 54 in Ken Palm, still projected to finish 21-10, 12-6 in the league. So again, that would mean a 5-2 finish. I think at worst you're 5-2, and I still think you can win and get to 6-1. No urgency when trailing big. Let's see. Mike says, you really think they can win 6? I do, because they just played on the road. I don't think the offense is as bad as we've seen it the last 2 games. They just played two hostile, tough road environments, and teams don't typically shoot as well on the road. And I'm looking at the schedule. I mean, if it was 6 straight and they had to play all these, at the pit again or wherever else, I'd say no. But they're playing San Jose and Fresno at home, and then they're playing Wyoming and Air Force on the road. I think those can be 4 wins. And then you get 2 teams you've already beat at home again in New Mexico and Nevada. So, yes, I definitely think Boise State can win 6 games in a row. Let's stop with this. What's Leon's buyout? Come on. Just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. That is not the case. 0-4 in the tournament. I don't even think that's right. I think it's 0-3. 1 conference tournament championship in 13 years. Why do you care about the tourney championship? The regular season title means way more than winning a 3-day tournament. So I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, they haven't won as many regular seasons either, but I would never put a bearing on a coach based on a 3-day tournament in March. That is ridiculous. Sky asking about Bush staying pre-Super Bowl surprise tomorrow. I'm going to do what I can and work on it. Wyoming will not be a trap game. I can tell you that. They already know some other teams can win up there, and they need every win they can get at this point. There are no trap games left for Boise State. They will be locked in, and I think Boise State can go to Wyoming and win that game. So
Boise State has the number 1 strength of schedule in the Mountain West. Wow, what do you know? Boise State has played the hardest schedule in the league to this point, and it's going to get a lot easier here moving forward. So it's crazy when logic gets in the way of folks' narratives and things. But Boise State, again, wasn't pretty, but they still have a reason for optimism given the schedule lightening up here moving forward. They're going to have this bye week, take some days off, regroup, and I think you're going to see a refocused team down the stretch here moving forward. So final score 80-61. I've still got a story to write. We'll get that up at BroncoNationNews.com. And then I am headed to Circa Resort and Casino tomorrow in Las Vegas to watch the Super Bowl. So looking forward to getting to Las Vegas, flying out of Salt Lake tomorrow morning. I may be the craziest guy in America, landing in Las Vegas a half a mile from the Super Bowl, 3 hours before the game. So I may pay $200 for an Uber. We'll see. But my wife and I going to head over to Circa Resort and Casino, watch the Super Bowl, have some fun, and then fly back late tomorrow night. And Mike Prater and I will be live at 9 a.m. on Monday for Bronco Nation News Live. So appreciate you guys for checking us out. Again, I understand your frustration. Tough one, tough week. Tough couple of weeks. They've lost 3 out of 5 now. But I do think that, they ran into some good teams and some tough road venues. And so Boise State will regroup, take some time off, and they'll be back in action next Saturday when they host Fresno State. That game is in the afternoon, I believe. Fresno State on Saturday and then San Jose State on Tuesday before they go on the road to Wyoming and Air Force. So Bronco Nation News, of course, will be there every step of the way. And I get it. You're frustrated, but try to relax. And I promise you there's a lot of wins coming for this team. I really, really believe that. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I think that they are where they are because of the schedule, and we'll see. But Utah State certainly deserving of the top spot right now. They're certainly playing really well, and they are now in sole possession of first place. Kudos to Danny Sprinkle and company. I think Danny Sprinkle's not only in the running for Mountain West, not only the favorite for Mountain West Coach of the Year, he's got to be in the running for National Coach of the Year as well. He's just doing a tremendous job at Utah State. So thank you guys for watching the show. We're going to go write our story. It's already 11 p.m. here. We got a story to write. And then, as I said, heading down to Salt Lake to watch the Super Bowl tomorrow in Las Vegas. So enjoy the Super Bowl. Go Chiefs. Have fun watching the game, and it should be a fun Sunday for everybody. Don't worry about Boise State basketball. Have fun watching the Super Bowl, making some food, having some drinks, and we'll get back to Boise State on Monday morning at 9 a.m. with Mike Prater. So appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your evening. Go support the sponsors. Go subscribe if you can. And, again, tough one for Boise State. They fall 80-61. They're now 16-8 on the season and 7-4 overall. Mountain West play 1 game behind Utah State in the standings, essentially 2, though, with the tiebreakers. And we'll see how it plays out the next couple of weeks. And I still think when all is said and done, Boise State's going to be right there at the end of the season, but we'll see. So appreciate you guys. Have a good rest of your evening. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Mike Prater and I will talk to you at 9 a.m. on Monday. Bronco Nation News Live. Bronco Nation.